Good day, everybody. Brian here, quantlabsnet.com. So this was sent over from a usual source that keeps me up to date on a variety of things. So thanks to him for sending this out. Thought I'd go over my initial response to this book. And interesting timing. This should come out sometime in January 2025. Anyhow, it's called Debunking C++ Myths. Embark on a insightful journey to uncover the truths behind popular C++ myths and misconceptions. So I think this book may be timed around how the U.S. government's trying to tell agencies and probably contractors not to use C++ because of memory leaks and all that, uh, being potential hacking, uh, or make the software hackable. So let's go through this. So that's probably one of the reasons why this is put out. Explore the origins of C++ myths and relevance today. Learn to sidestep common pitfalls and adopt modern best practice to master the evolving C++ landscape. So I read a book for C++ 17. And before that, it was just legacy C++. With the modern C++ and the smarter smart pointers and just better handling on creating memory allocation and deallocating it. That's what makes C++ dangerous or vulnerable. With the C++ 17, it kind of takes care of all that, and the 20 makes it even better and safer. So all those concerns may be prior to C++ 17. Trace the origins of C++ misconception, understand why they persist, as I probably said. Learn to avoid pitfalls caused by misunderstood C++ standards. Leverage lesser known features of C++ programming language. Uh, so let me just put it this way. C++ is a difficult language to learn and even way harder to master. That's why in this space, high frequency trading or frequency trading, medium, low, whatever, that's why it pays what it pays. Even in this environment, 250,000 is not unheard of. If you're a team lead, it can go from 500,000 all the way up to 1 million to be the technical lead on these high frequency trading systems if you've got the technical chops for it. So, continuing along in this book, for decades, C++ has been clouded by myths and misunderstanding. From its early design decisions to misconceptions that still linger today. Claims like C++ is hard to learn, or definitely not C++ is obsolete. The new standards they put actually um, become influential in other programming languages because a lot of these standard reviews are quite ingenious to help optimize the language and make it easier to work with in recent and future versions of C. Um, so C++ is obviously routed on some truth, but they're outdated and fail to capture a language ongoing evolution and modern capabilities. As I said, and it really comes down to the versions of each iteration of those versions of C++ coming out of the standards. Written by industry veterans with over 40 years. And most of the complainers about C++ are under the age of 40, right? Because they don't have the maturity yet to fully embrace what this language can bring compared to using something like so easy to use like Python or other like languages of Python, interpreted language, where this is a compiled language, fully different way of software development, and same with JavaScript as well. So 40 years of combined experience, this book uncovers the myths, exploring the origins and relevance to the concept of today's C++ landscape. It clips a deeper understanding of advanced features and best practices to elevate your projects. As you move into more C++ and only C++, obviously, probably smartly working with secondary languages like Python and JavaScript, if you're a core C++ developer, your pay scale will go much higher than a lot of other comparative languages, or it should be theoretically. Each chapter tackles a specific misconception, shedding on like C++ modern features, as I said, since 17, such as I said, smart pointers, lambdas, and concurrency. You'll learn practical strategies to navigate common challenges like code portability and compiler compatibility. Because there's like major different compilers out there, like the GCC versus CLang versus other compilers like the MSVC and so on and so forth, depending upon the OS operating system and so on and so forth. Each chapter tackles a specific misconception, shedding light on C++ modern features. Oh, I've already. You'll learn practical strategies to navigate common challenges like okay, we already how to incorporate modern best practices into your C++ code base and optimize performance and future-proof your projects. So right now, if you were to look at the job descriptions for HFT high-paying jobs, coding, research, the like, you'll notice still somewhat a lot of them are in C++ 17. That's why I picked the book for 17 to sort of stay in line, use that as the baseline. And then as more HFT shops start to move into C++ 20, that's when you start learning that. And then you have C++ 23. And now they're talking about the new standards for C++ 26. So there's always that constant evolution of new features drop, da da da. I don't think they drop features, but um, up until Java 6, there was like that where there's no code break policy. Beyond that, I've lost track of where Java's at, to be honest. Anyways, by the end of this book, you'll have a comprehensive understanding of C++ evolution, equipping you to make more informed decisions and harness its powerful features to enhance skills. You will learn, comprehend the history of C++ and the design decisions to shape the modern challenges. So when you hear, oh, C++ is no good, it's going to die, these people don't have the full understanding of how the evolution of C++ has come to be to where it's at today. To make it still probably in the top three most popular programming languages out there, according to the TO. I mean, Python by a long shot uh, is still like is conquering the whole domain of languages. Master program flow, underlying principles to resolve issues effectively. Tackle incompatibility across compilers and platforms with ease. That's going to be a big challenge when you get these mysterious coding errors and warnings that it's just the compiler. That's a difficult situation. Whereas, like in JavaScript, forget. It's just it's a wild domain. It's a wild west. People have told me. Whereas Python is just one interpreter, and that's it. Where, as I said, there's multiple C++ compilers with different standards and not up to date, not properly synchronized. Um, okay, identify issues in writing code that may lead to unidentified behavior. That's the fun part about C++, where you have to have a really good IDE. I'm kind of trying to get back into VS Code and specifically VS Studio, Visual Studio, and code with the code sitting in a Windows subsystem for Linux, the WSL on Windows. That's a good way to go about it, but there's going to be people that are pure Linux and only Linux, which is fine. But you're only going to stay in the world of Linux, and even across distributions of Linux, there might be some compatibility problems as well. I can't say, but I wouldn't be surprised there's not. Or I'd be surprised if there was no compatibility problems across different distributions of Linux and BSDs and Unix and all that. Explore advanced C++ features not typically covered in academia. That's a big thing when it comes to a lot of these books and a lot of the people writing this stuff. They're coming from the world of academia. They're not coming from the world of industry. There is a couple of people that I know of that write um, books from their experience in industry, but some of them get shredded for whatever reason. So they address concerns about compiler code generation and optimization. Again, just building a makefile or optimizing the compiler, that can be a full-time job in itself. Understand why undefined behavior remains intentionally undefined. That one's twisted. I don't know how to respond to that one. Who's this book for? Advanced, immediate, intermediate to C++ developers looking to deepen their understanding of the language complexities. Bingo. Perfect for coders eager to avoid common mistakes, hackers, scholars with a sense of humor, or anyone with an interest in C++. I find that funny, the scholars with a sense of humor. Maybe it's going to be written with humor. I don't know. Programmers who want to expand their knowledge, refine existing skills, new paradigms, or dive into the nuances of C++. This is what, as I said, this is what makes coding in C++ and becoming an experienced C++ and getting to a point where you master the language. That's what gives you value and long-term longevity in this uh, in this field, especially in C++, where you could code maybe in your 70s and 80s, still be highly valuable to employers because of your experience that nobody else brings. Technical leads and software engineering managers adopting new technologies or navigating C++ ecosystem will also benefit from this book. That's good. So it's good audience coverage here. Um, C++ is very difficult to learn. Absolutely. Every C++ program is standard compliant or supposed to be. C++, there's a single C++ and it's object oriented. Think object oriented becoming more and more. I'm not going to get in that, but its main function is the entry point to your application. C++ class order must be there. C++ is not memory safe. Absolutely, if you're using the before C++ 17. No simple way to do parallelism and concurrency. I think it's getting easier. There's different third-party parallelism uh, projects out there, and there's just different ways to do it, especially in the world of Linux. The fastest C++ inline assembly. A lot of people take advantage of that, but there's pros and cons on it depending upon who you ask. C++ is uh, a beautiful language. I would agree with that if you enjoy coding like this. If you want simple, less hairy languages, Python's the one you go with. C++ is, as I said before, and I'm sure you've heard it before, C++ is like checkers, easy to learn but hard to master. Um, there are no libraries for modern C++ programming. I can't say anything about that. Maybe they're not compatible. I don't know. C++ is backwards compatible, even with C. There's truth to that with all the C uh, options and standards of C. The book I learned about C++ 17 really encouraged people not to use any of the principles of C at all because there's a lot of weaknesses of C. I mean, you could still do a lot of interesting things with C. That's a 40 plus year language. Rust will replace C++. I'm just putting out a video today on that. It's possible as a general language, but definitely not in the world of trading. I mean, I don't need to go on about that, especially in high frequency trading. Interesting book, just to know about. And again, if you want to know more about how I'm pursuing all this, just go over the Learn tab at quantlabsnet.com and sign up. We got our Black Friday on as well, and that's going to be a very pricey membership come December 3rd, so that you might want to watch under plans and pricing as well. So if you're interested in that, the best thing, it's $4.99, 30% off now before that sale in 2024. If you're interested, as I said, go into that plan, pricing, apply the coupon code Black Friday in capitals, and apply, and it shall work. So from $4.99 down to $3.49. And as I said, as of Tuesday, this will double. So take advantage if you're interested in any of these things. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good